Without self-confidence, talent is like a lamp hidden under a basket. The light is there, but no one sees it. You can have skill, intelligence, and opportunity, but if you don't believe in yourself, the world will pass you by. This is the story of a boy who discovered that the moment you trust yourself, the world starts trusting you too. In the foothills of a small mountain village lived a 17-year-old boy named Kabir. His family ran a small carpentry shop. Kabir loved designing furniture, sketching chairs, tables, and shelves in a little notebook he carried everywhere. His dream was to make a name for himself as a furniture designer. But Kabir had one problem. He never showed his work to anyone. Whenever his father asked him to help in the shop, Kabir stuck to sanding wood or cleaning tools. "I'm not good enough to design something for a customer," he would say. If a neighbor asked what he wanted to be in life, he would smile shyly and say, "I don't know." Inside, he knew exactly what he wanted, but fear and doubt tied his hands. One day, the village council announced a competition. Design the best wooden bench for the town square. Winner's design will be built and displayed for years to come. Kabir's heart skipped a beat. He had dozens of bench designs in his notebook, but the thought of showing them to others made his palms sweat. What if they laugh at my idea? What if I fail in front of everyone? So he decided not to participate. That evening, his grandfather, who had been watching him closely, sat down beside him. "Kabir, why aren't you entering the contest?" Kabir looked down. "Because. What if I'm not good enough?" The old man smiled gently. "Do you know how I became a carpenter? When I was your age, I entered a carving competition. My work wasn't perfect. In fact, I made mistakes. But I showed up, and people saw my effort. That's when I got my first customers." "But what if I fail?" Kabir whispered. Grandfather leaned forward. "You've already failed if you don't try. Self-confidence doesn't mean you're sure you'll win. It means you believe you're worth the attempt." Kabir couldn't sleep that night. His grandfather's words played in his mind. By morning, he had made a decision. He would try. For the next week, Kabir worked harder than ever. He selected smooth cedar wood, drew careful sketches, and crafted a bench with curved armrests and a sunburst pattern carved into the backrest. But on the morning of the competition, fear returned. His heart pounded as he carried the bench to the town square. Dozens of others had entered. Older carpenters, skilled artisans, even the best woodworker in the region. The judges walked around inspecting each bench. Kabir stood in the corner, silently wishing to disappear. Finally, one of the judges stopped at his bench. He ran his hands over the carvings and asked, "Who made this?" Kabir hesitated, then raised his hand. I did." "Come here," the judge said. "Explain your design." Kabir's voice trembled at first, but then he remembered his grandfather's advice. "Believe you're worth the attempt." He took a breath and began describing the pattern, the choice of cedar for its fragrance, and the slight curve in the seat for comfort. To his surprise, the judges listened intently. When he finished, one of them smiled. "You have an eye for detail. Very well done." Later that afternoon, the results were announced. Kabir didn't win first place, but he won second. The villagers clapped, his father beamed with pride, and the local school principal asked if Kabir could design benches for the schoolyard. That evening, his grandfather handed him a small wooden box. Inside was a finely carved ruler. "This was mine when I started my career," he said. "You've taken your first step. Keep building, not just with wood, but with confidence." Years later, Kabir became known far beyond the village. His designs were displayed in hotels and parks across the region. People admired his craftsmanship, but when asked what made the biggest difference in his life, Kabir always said the same thing: "The day I trusted myself enough to try." Moral: self-confidence is not built in a single leap. It's built in small steps of courage. The moment you decide you're worth the attempt, the world begins to see your value. Don't wait to be perfect. Step forward, speak up, and believe you belong where your dreams are leading you. If you like this story, share it with someone who doubts themselves. Sometimes all a person needs is the courage to take one step, and the rest of the journey unfolds on its own.